everyone. Welcome to Monday. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I am getting a little bit of a late start on updating this weekly reading vlog, but that's okay. You know, Mondays are those days where I think so many people look at them negatively because, it's the start of a new week, and I fully get it. I've been there, especially in school. Mondays were the worst. But as I've gotten older and wrestled with more time management situations than when I was in school, I have come to view Mondays as kind of a blessing of it's a new week. We will sit and we will reorganize everything every week because I really want to keep my weekends. And so Mondays then became imbued with all of this sort of new week promise. So today, I had therapy this morning because I've scheduled all my therapy appointments on Mondays. So we start the week off on a constructive note. I wrote for an hour today, which was good. I normally also leave my Mondays free of writing so that I can organize everything else. But today I was just feeling the writing spirit. So when it calls, you answer. You show up for your muse. And I've been doing a lot of laundry today, which has also been good. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but laundry is one of my all-time favorite chores. There's something so satisfying about clothes being clean and folding and putting them away. I love it so much. So I've been doing a lot of that, which is good. And what was the other thing? Oh, I have been working on piano lessons. The academic year for piano lessons starts in 2 weeks on September 6th. So yeah, I'm really excited. I got 20 students at the moment, most of them which require new books. So I was on the phone with my music supplier today, getting quotes for how many books I will need and budgeting, creating billing statements. Again, that clerical stuff and that organizational stuff, it just soothes the savage beast, you know? So I also wanted to give you an update on reading because I've kind of hit a stagnant part of reading this summer, mostly because 2022 has not been my year. And it all kind of culminated in this past month or so, so I wanted to get back on top of my reading. So the book that I'm going to see if I can finish today/tomorrow is The Woman Who Stole Vermeer by Anthony M. Amore, or Amore, who knows. This follows the story of Rose Dugdale, who was an English aristocrat who was raised very well, but chafed pretty quickly on her family's principles and became very involved in the politics of the 60s and 70s, particularly the Irish Revolution and Irish Republicanism. If you don't know, in the late 60s, early 70s, there was a lot of tension because Ireland wanted to secede from England, and eventually that ended up happening, and we now have the Republic of Ireland. However, Northern Ireland, which is like a quarter, maybe a little smaller portion of Ireland that's way up in the north, is still a territory, or I don't know what the word is, still connected to England. Kind of like Australia is. They're still connected to the United Kingdom. There we go, that was the word I'm looking for. Still a part of the United Kingdom. But there was a lot of political tension. There were massive protests. There were hunger strikes. There were huge bombings. Big loss of life. There was never an actual war. It was very much a terrorist type situation. This particular part and era of history is very fascinating to me because that's my family history. Dates back to Ireland, and so I have a very close connection with that country. Rose Dugdale herself becomes kind of a sect of the IRA, and goes rogue a lot, but all of this is leading up to her art theft. It was the biggest art heist of the time, organized by a woman. And she did, this is Rose Dugdale, by the way, and she stole this painting by Vermeer. Lady Writing a Letter with Her Maid is the name of the painting. I haven't got anywhere close to that point in the book. I am on chapter 11, page 139. And there are, let me see, 235 pages, so I have just under 100 pages left to go. It's very interesting. Like, I think what most good nonfiction is about, is that it uses one particular person to focus on a larger issue. So this is a biography telling the story of Rose Dugdale, but it also digs way deep into Irish republicanism and the tensions that it caused and the awful loss of life, and the persecution, and the subterfuge and the incels. There's a lot of stuff in here, all merged with Rose's story. So there's also pictures in here, which I love when nonfiction includes them. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to be able to finish this tomorrow. I'd like to ideally finish it tomorrow because I've got a few other things on my plate. So that's the book that I'm focusing on today. I am going to take a little bit of a break from what I'm doing and read for a while tonight. I'm really excited about tonight too, because one thing that I decided to do this fall was audition for a play. I gave up theater when I went to college because it was a big investment if you were going to participate in collegiate theater, and I didn't really have the time with everything else I was involved in, so I was forced to give it up. Something that I really enjoyed recreationally in high school, and it's been a while since I've done community theater, so I auditioned and I got a part in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It is written entirely in verse, and has a slight comedic bent to it. I play Gossip number 2. The Gossips are kind of the main narrators of the story, which is exactly the role that I really wanted. Was fun telling a story. So tonight we have rehearsal at 6:30, so I'll have to jet out of here about 6 o'clock. And I'm excited because today we're actually going to go to our venue and rehearse at our venue, and there's a bit of a surprise that comes with it, and which is why I'm so excited to do this show, because it'll be performed the last 2 weekends in September, and our final performance is on October 1st. So the perfect fall play. I'm really excited. So that's the plan for today. So I think, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read for like an hour-ish, maybe a little longer than that, and I will give you an update when I'm done. Okay, everyone. I am going to quick fold one of my last loads of laundry while I give you an update. I got to page 180 in The Woman Who Stole Vermeer, and we finally, after I updated you that we hadn't seen any book stuff about art, all of it happened in those nearly 50 pages that I read in an hour. So we got a history of popular art at the time, and we got a little bit of a feel for like the price changes. So some of the history as to what Vermeer's work sold like after his death compared to now, and then we got into art heists at the time. So in this particular story, this part of history, 2 Vermeer works were stolen within, I think, like a month of each other. One, they still have no idea who stole it, which I think is really interesting, that they have zero like suspects as to who potentially did it. And they actually used a clairvoyant, like a tip from a self-proclaimed clairvoyant, to help them find the painting, which I thought was very interesting. And then there was obviously the big one that Rose herself was involved in, and the disguise she went under, and the people who, well, we don't know the people who she included in her heist, but there were 3 men who were with her when she stole the Vermeer along with 18 other paintings, hence why it was labeled the largest art heist in history. I don't know if it still is, but at the time it certainly was, particularly one organized by a woman. And what I think is interesting, I could kind of see it play out in my head like I would if I was like directing the movie adaptation of this story, because she is hiding out. She's on the run because she is a bit of a political fugitive at the moment. She's on the run, and she's hiding in this farm or cottage that this farmer owns on his property, and the public is told that if they see anyone suspicious or like matching these particular descriptions that the police gave them to call. And so this farmer's like, hey, I have this strange lady living in my cottage, go check it out. And so they did, and they met her, and she put on like half the disguise she had on at the time of the robbery. And the police were smart enough to know that the people she was with were armed and violent, and so they didn't arrest her or accuse her of anything. They left to go get backup, and when they left, she left and just went to this pier and stood there having like a full, real sad girl in the rain moment by the Irish Sea, the Strait, and then she was just like, well, that's it. Like, this woman, we've had 12 chapters of her on the run and hiding, using disguises, fake passports, and she just has this one stereotypical, I can just see that picture, like, in this movie, it opens with the scene of her standing on a pier. It's raining, very melodramatic, music is playing, and then cut to the beginning of her story. Like, that's the final moment where she's like, yep, I'm gonna give it all up. And I'm like, what an anticlimactic ending. I was expecting like a car chase, or for her to actually like go on the run again. But nope, we're just be like, well, they got me. Anyway, so all of this, the reason why these paintings were stolen, the art thefts were happening, is for prisoner leverage. So there were a couple sisters, the Price sisters, Fanny and Dolores, I think were their names, and they were also Irish Republicans, and had organized a bombing, and so were being held in an English prison, and there were many other things. The 2 sisters were on hunger strike at the time, and so there were many of these people making moves to get them transferred to an Irish prison for the rest of their sentence because they believed them to be maltreated, which, you know, to be fair, they kind of were. So all of this was happening in order to get them and several other Irish prisoners transferred to an Irish prison. So that's kind of the motive behind why those things were happening. So all of this build up for a chapter and a half's worth of art history heist, and then she's just like, well, that's it. So I hope we get like a little bit more I guess intriguing details about how it was organized, because they recovered all of the art. So anyway, in a book that, like, the description is all about the art heist, there was very little about the art heist. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I am going to finish folding this laundry, and then it's time to go to play practice. I'm really excited. So anyway, making good progress. I have just over 50 pages left. We'll see how far I can get tonight. Hi babes. I thought I'd give an update before I go to play practice again this evening. It's now Tuesday, by the way. I made the mistake of sitting cross-legged and my whole right leg is asleep. So if I stand up, I will end up on the floor. Ooh, I got the tingles in my foot. Okay, I'm gonna give an update on The Woman Who Stole Vermeer because I only have about just under 40 pages left to go. So I definitely think I am going to finish this one tonight. So, what's been happening? I made it past the pictures, and just in case anyone wanted to know, there's a better picture of Rose. That's Rose. So, but I don't mind giving spoilers for nonfiction because it is nonfiction. This actually happened in history, so you can look up what happened on your own. But Rose has been arrested. She's been in court. She's been on trial. It has bled a little bit more towards the fanatical. Her and her manifesto, that's the best way that I can describe it. I think when I started reading this book, it was sold a little bit more to me as a feminist thing. And as much as, you know, I'm a fan of the art crime world because my favorite TV show is White Collar, I'm fascinated by it, and art forgery and that kind of thing. I cannot, for the sake of feminism, justify the amount of life lost and the violence she supported and encouraged, and the infidelity that she willingly practiced with someone else's husband, and I can't put all of that aside in favor of feminism. I hope that you wouldn't either. So I'm having a really hard time connecting with her at all because she encourages stuff that I can't get behind. So, however, is this a fascinating story to read? Yes. Mostly because of the Irish Republicanism history. Like I mentioned yesterday, it's a big part of who I am. My ancestors are from Northern Ireland. It's such a fascinating slice of history and I could read about it for forever. Plus I love art crime, like I said. So I'm very entertained, but I don't think I like her. Which I think it was kind of sold to me as you were gonna like her. And maybe that's my own, you know, personal misinterpretation of what's happening, but oh, anyway, I wanted to show you this too. This is also the place where she stole the art from, Rusborough House. Massive. Lots of art she stole. Anyway, only got just under 40 pages left, so I'm going to see how much I can read before I go to play practice tonight. And I think I probably will just give you an update when I've finished the thing. I think that's what's going to happen, so there we go. Okay, everyone. It is much later in the evening. Rehearsal went well today. We got all the way through Act 1. No major issues. That's good. But I did just finish The Woman Who Stole Vermeer. I don't quite know what my thoughts are on this, to be honest. The whole premise of this book focuses so much on the fact that it's the only woman to ever pull off a major art heist to this day. At least at the point that this book was published. And yet so much of the book didn't focus on that. Not until the last couple chapters did it even talk about Vermeer at all. I read this book for the historical information on the Troubles, as they're called, in Ireland gaining its independence from England, which is fascinating. As I've said many times before, I love this subject matter, and reading about Rose Dugdale in this situation and several other names that I knew, like the Price sisters, was really, really interesting. Learning about Sinn Féin and the IRA. That's kind of what kept me reading, rather than the fact that it was the only woman to have ever pulled off this major art heist. As I mentioned before, it's a little hard for me to rationalize her being an important historical woman with all of the violence and the things I mentioned earlier. She's now a very honored, respected individual in Ireland. I sometimes think that it's a little glorified, the stuff that happened. This is from an outside perspective. I was not there to witness it firsthand. Obviously, I wasn't alive then. But it's kind of that two sides of a coin, double-edged sword of these incredibly influential people who also did horrible things. So that's history. Not everyone can be the hero all the time. Everyone has a past. Everyone has done awful things. Like I said, the book was fascinating. I just kind of wish it would have been more balanced in its delivery of the fact that the title's called The Woman Who Stole Vermeer, and Vermeer's not mentioned until the last couple chapters. It's more about republicanism, which is fine. Like I said, it's fascinating. So I think I do know what I'm going to rate it, but you'll have to wait until my August wrap-up to get my full review. There you go. The Woman Who Stole Vermeer. Good piece of history. Hey gang, it is now Thursday. I didn't do any reading on Wednesday because I woke up with a headache, and so I'd slept in a little bit to see if I could head it off at the pass, which meant that my work schedule got pushed back a little bit, so I didn't have any of my normal reading time. But today, I actually got done a little early, so I've got some time to read, which is good. Since finishing The Woman Who Stole Vermeer, I have 2 books that I'm going to see if I can finish this week, and the first one that I'm going to tackle is The Troubled Girls of Dragomir Academy. I picked up this book a few weeks ago. I want to say almost a month ago now, and I've had to return it twice because I'm reading it on an online library app, Libby, which is great because it connects you with your public library, but you can read digital books, which is good. But I've had to return it twice because it didn't capture me enough that I kept reading. I kept putting it down because I was bored. I hate it when that happens, particularly with middle grade and particularly with fantasy. Because I do want to enjoy everything I read, particularly in those genres. But I think Maria is the main character's name, and it's her story. She's living in this country, and this country evaluates and tests, I think, the eldest siblings of the family to see if they have magical abilities, as a way to improve their family station. And Maria herself is a bit accident prone and clumsy, and weird things happen to her. And it's also implied that she has magical abilities and her older brother does not. And so after things kind of bubble to a head, she's whisked off to a quote-unquote correctional school called Dragomir Academy, where the troubled girls are sent. And from the outset, I was thinking that this school was supposed to be like hey, we're taking you away from the world that doesn't like you because you're different, but we know you have magical abilities, so we're going to train you to use them, right? To be useful. That has not happened. It really is like a reformatory school for girls, and I'm a little disappointed because I thought it would be a really cool coming of age parallel, which is, particularly good for middle grade. So Maria ends up in this school. Even then, she's surrounded by all of these other female characters who are a little odd like her. There's a conspiracy with the family that started the school and their daughter that disappeared. There's a thing called Mountain Madness, which is rumored to be girls who are succumbing to some sort of magical power. People think they're witches, and they disappear and then come back and they don't remember anything. There's some wolves or stuff that's happening, wolf spirits. I feel bad because I don't remember half of this stuff. I'm like 68% of the way through the book and I am foggy on the details. Ultimately, I don't think I continued to read it because I kept wanting more plot twists and reveals, and it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Speculative. There we go. There's some tension thrumming, and there's been zero resolution of any of it, and I'm 68% of the way through. I don't know if this is a series, but it's just been 68% of, it feels like it's 68% of setup, and nothing's happened yet. So I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can finish that. Maybe tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, because I like the atmosphere. I think it's a really interesting story. It reminds me a little bit of the Princess Academy trilogy. I don't know if any of you have ever read that, mixed with a little bit of Uprooted. Kind of those books combined. So maybe a little bit of Bear and the Nightingale thrown in. That's just kind of the atmosphere I've gotten. Anyway, like I said, very atmospheric, but nothing really of substance has happened. So I'm going to start working on that one because I don't DNF. I'm going to finish it. I started it, so I made a commitment to finish it. I'm going to do it. Hopefully it improves in the last 32%. We'll see. All right, I'm going to read for a little bit, and I will update you if I can. Otherwise, I will update you tomorrow on how far I got. Hey guys, today I most likely won't do any reading until I make this 3.5 hour drive home. I apologize for the road noise. My car is getting a new muffler soon. We love driving old cars. It's great. I actually am very grateful for my car, don't get me wrong. But today I had to make a pretty decent drive to a board meeting for a nonprofit, of which I am a member of the board. They're pretty lengthy meetings, so they require kind of a longer stay at where we were going. I showed you a little bit of the beautiful drive that I get to witness every time I go. This was my first official in-person board meeting for this organization, so I was excited. Anyway, this was going to be a long haul day because I'm driving there and back in one day, so I opted out of an audiobook. I thought about it, but I've already got a few books that are open, and I don't want to add one more that I won't have the wherewithal to finish quickly, so I decided to forego the audiobook this time, although that is normally what I do if I'm driving. Anyway, all of that to say, I wanted to update you because I did finish Troubled Girls of Dragomir Academy last night. I stayed up past my bedtime trying to finish it, not because I was interested, but because I wanted it to be done. Oh, I think I can say for certain, and those of you who follow me on Goodreads or Storygraph, you'll be able to see my review. This might be the lowest rated book I've read this year, and I was so disappointed in this book. That's kind of my overall emotions with this book, which I've mentioned before that I really don't like when that happens, particularly with this kind of subject matter, and particularly with middle grade. I want it to be a good middle grade. I want people in the junior fiction section to be able to have good quality books. But I think there are better books that address these topics I feel like that happens a lot, particularly when I read middle grade. And I will also admit that middle grade is not my level of reading. I do not read a lot of middle grade, and I don't know if that's my own personal taste or I'm allowing my preconceptions of what a book should be cloud my, or like what an adult level or youth level book should be, cloud my opinion of it. But, you know, saying that, there are middle grades out there that are stellar, you know, that can do all of those things and impart a good lesson, can impart character growth, can impart empowerment. I referenced the other day the Princess Academy trilogy, that is bordering junior fiction. It is so good and deals with pretty much all of the same subject matter and is such a more captivating and involved story. So I don't know if it's just me and my taste, if I'm expecting too much of middle grade. Am I am I expecting preteens to be more intelligent than that? I don't know. I just wanted more. We all have books like that. It's the story of every, worst and most disappointing books video of every year, right? Taste is taste. Anyway, I'm gonna end this clip because I'm about to get on the highway and it's gonna get real loud. So I wanted to give you an update. I will probably read a little when I get home, depending on how late it is, and I will give you an update on what I'm starting next. Hi everyone. It is now Saturday. I wanted to give a little bit of a reading update before I complete too much more of my Saturday to-do list. So I did finish Trouble Girls of Dragomir Academy, and today I am gonna see if I can, excuse me, get a decent chunk of The Life of Pi by Jan Martel read today. I had put down this book when the summer got too crazy. And I kind of needed to shut out everything for a while. But I picked it up again last night. I forgot how much I really, really enjoy this book. It's beautifully written, such vivid detail, and a real exploration of the psyche, but not in a way that makes you feel like you're reading too many inner thoughts or too much psychology. It's very well described, and you are sitting in the emotion with Pi as he's floating in the ocean, and it's so good, and you're always wondering what's going to happen next. A lot of what I read engages me enough where I can't pull myself out of it. I just have to keep reading. Those books are rare, but even more rare are the books that make me stop and go, oh, that was so beautiful or poignant. I have to sit with it for a minute because it just, it strikes something. Those are the soul books. They're the books that engage you as a reader and your mind, and, it fully sweeps you off your feet. Those are some of my favorites, but the books that make you pause and go, oh, I have to sit with that for a minute. Those don't come along very much either, and so this is definitely going to be one of those books. I don't know what I'm going to rate it. I'm at 56% of the way through, I think, so it's so good so far. Currently, Pi's in the middle of the ocean attached to the lifeboat that the tiger Richard Parker is in, and he's decided now, Pi, that he's going to train Richard Parker. That's his only means of survival now, is can I train the tiger to be responsive to me so he won't eat me. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do reading wise. Hello everyone. It is Sunday now. We had a massive thunderstorm last night, like a lot, and it kind of lasted until very early this morning. We had some downed limbs, and it's almost noon and the clouds are just leaving. So yeah, after I get home from church, we deconstruct, we put on comfy clothes, we eat comfort food, and we have a chill day. That's the plan. So today I don't know if I'll be able to. I would like to finish Life of Pi. I would really like to finish it. Not because I want it to be done, but I just want to kind of get lost in it because, like I said yesterday, I forgot how good it was. And I really want to, you know, get caught up in the story. That's kind of the plan for today. I will update you after I eat my lunch and when I've read more of Life of Pi. Hello everyone! It is back to Monday. We've reached an entire week of reading and attempting to finish books that I halfway started. This week turned out to be really surprising because last night I finished Life of Pi, and it may or may not be a new favorite. It was so good. It's so beautiful. It's such a hard story to read. Any survival story is really about humans being pushed to their limit, but I loved Jan Martel's storying of the philosophy of human nature and of humans being pushed to their brink and base need. And it, like I said, it wasn't written like this is super depressing. It was hard material, but it was written so beautifully that it made you sit and kind of examine yourself. But this book just made me sit and ponder being human and what it means to treasure life, and weigh the value of your life against the insanity that is nature. I won't give too many details on the ending of this book because I think you need to witness the magic for yourself. But suffice it to say, I have found a new favorite, and I will talk a little bit more at length about some of my favorite things in my August wrap-up video. But it was the best way to end the week of reading 3 books and finishing 3 books and ending on a very big high. And yeah, I like doing vlogs like this where I finish books that I'm kind of stuck in the middle of because it motivates me to read it. And ending this week on The Life of Pi just makes me want to read more, which is exactly what we love about favorite books. And I'm so grateful that I found a new favorite. And if you know anything about my book review scale, you know what it means when I find a favorite, what I will usually rate it. So anyway, it's been a good week of reading. Some disappointments, some questions, but ultimately ended on a good note, which is wonderful. So it'll probably be a week or two before I do another weekly reading vlog because my August wrap-up is coming up next week. But if there's anything you want to see me do during my weekly reading vlog, let me know. I'd be happy to accommodate. If you enjoyed, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel because it really does help me out, and let me know what you guys want to see. And as always, a huge thank you to the friends and family who readily support me on this journey. It truly means the world to me, and I can't wait to see what's on the next page. Cheers.